Game plan. Your thoughts on all of the issues we'll be talking about are welcome on that hashtag Game Plan. Of course, the show is also live on Twitter Spaces. So head to Joy 99.7 FM. We're streaming there on Twitter Spaces. So do join us. We will try and add speakers this time around. Last time we tried, it didn't quite work. We'll keep trying until it works because your opinions there are very important to us. On WhatsApp, your messages are welcome as well. 055 11 11 997. Someone said I shouldn't mention it 11 11. I should say quadruple 1 997. 055 11 11 997. That's our WhatsApp number. Send in your thoughts. What's going on with Man United? A Chelsea fan through. I'm interested in your thoughts. Is this the season Manchester City finally win the league? All right, so there's a lot on the agenda, and to help me put perspective on all of the issues this afternoon, as usual, we're joined by my usual quadruplets. I like to call them Sitsofe, Daniel, Gary, Muftawu, Nabila, Koranteng. Give me one big man.
Show is hosted by Daniel Koranteng.
Thank you everyone for joining us. I am Daniel Koranteng.
So it's Daniel Koranteng, whose official middle name is Salamatu.
You hard guy.
And his nickname is Fentuo Tahiru.
Are you guys done? Don't Kalito.
Mr. Kaltufo just
Don't Kalito. When I call him Don Kalito, then you look at the foolish boy.
Oh, Mr. Kaltufo.
He doesn't like Don Kalito, but he likes Toofman.
Welcome.
Don Kalito, there's a microphone here. You can respond. Good afternoon, Mr. Kaltufo. How are you doing?
I think the best way to respond to something like this is, where are the Bayern Munich people who were talking rubbish like 3-4 weeks ago?
Who said because of the arrival of Tuchel?
Yeah, your message came.
That's why you're here.
No. I was actually up in a meeting with one of your top guys, and I looked out of the window and I saw a certain slim gentleman walking arrogantly. I'm not mentioning him. I said a certain slim gentleman.
Yes, me
walking arrogantly back park, and I said, my goodness, I haven't said anything.
Is he a good singer?
I will not.
I will sing well.
No, I don't know about his singing ability. Never actually heard him sing, to confess to you.
You can do an audition right now.
But I do know of a gentleman whose father was a phenomenal singer and a drummer as well. Part of the original Voices of Triumph at Christian Action Faith Ministries.
Mr. Sidney Grant, our father.
Yes, he was.
So the thing is biological after all.
I was part of that group playing keyboards, and then Sydney was a main drummer, phenomenal drummer.
I see.
Yeah, phenomenal.
I'm not boom.
And ironically, he was 1 year behind your CEO, Kwesichum.
Carl, you don't want to know something?
Yes, sir.
Daniel, he doesn't do anything. He doesn't do anything.
I'm not referring to Daniel. I've not mentioned anybody's name.
You just mentioned somebody's father.
All I've said was that somebody's father. Who that father? It could have been you, Fent. It could have been Gary.
Exactly.
It could have been even George Ado Jr., who decides that he's now a BBC.
You see, there is a traditional proverb. When the drum middle is there, you don't beat the side. You beat the middle. How are you?
By His grace, we're fine.
I know you don't have a.
Are you fasting? Are you doing Azumi?
Please, today is Eid Mubarak. Today is Eid al-Fitr.
But okay, did you do the Azumi?
Yes, I did.
You did?
I did.
You're sure?
I don't play with that.
The reason why I don't believe you is that you and Nabila,
Oh, God.
Muftawu,
Yes.
you were too vocal to tell me that you were fasting at the week before and whatnot. No.
We were fasting.
they were fasting.
That's what the fasting.
Yeah, we were
It's
fasting.
And
important.
then even my own
But
friend,
there are physical manifestations
even
of
my
the
own
fast.
friend Abdulai Adam.
So
He
we,
didn't fast. So yeah.
No, he did it. He's actually going to Mecca now.
Okay.
Oh,
right.
Umrah.
Okay.
Okay.
He'll come back
Umrah.
as an Alaji. But there was sometimes a car off record. Kalina comedy in power.
And indeed, I had my share yesterday. Yesterday was the first time I actually felt that I was fasting. Hey!
I see.
Hey!
You know how Nabila was going about telling everybody that he wasn't affected by the fast because he saw a picture of me and I was looking slightly slimmer than usual. And he said the fasting was showing me Pepe.
Aha.
Then yesterday, I saw him presenting midday news. Then the shirt he was wearing, if you look at the neck, like this.
Did you say yesterday?
Yes, yesterday.
I said
so
I was
I
in-
took a picture.
Hold on. I said I was in one of your top people's office.
Yes.
So I was watching him when he was giving the sports. I didn't.
Anyway,
Excuse me, my tea is not the best.
yeah, it's okay.
A run.
No. Carl, you just came to do me dirty.
Anyway, please. I beg you.
Anyway, Ka, thank
you
you
very
very
much.
much. Thank you so much. That's Kazifo legend, Don Calito, the tooth man, joining us. I know, right? Anyway, guys, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Today, I'm not fasting. Nabila isn't fasting, so we have energy in abundance.
Full action.
Yeah, we do. Nabila, let me begin with you. Let's start the conversation on something you started, didn't quite finish last week. Stephen Appiah's comments about ex-players not getting involved. Now, I've been doing the math. I've looked at the national team at the moment. If you look at, say, the Black Stars team, from the coach to his assistant to team manager to physical trainer to quite a number of, if not all the backroom staff, there is not a single ex-Black Stars player.
Bookkeeper's trainer.
Goalkeeper's trainer, yes. So him,
Olele
only
is there.
exactly.
Yeah.
So you take him out, and you notice that there's not a lot of them involved. If you take, say, the under 23, Ibrahim Tanko is the head coach.
Yeah.
And
the 17 Lion Kings.
the 17 Lions Kitchen is assistant.
Zito himself is there. Yeah.
Zito himself is there. He's an ex-player. Who's in charge of the under 20 these days?
Under 20.
Yeah.
Samuel Bodu.
Samuel Boydu.
Yes.
Okay, not an ex-player of the Black Stars, obviously. So there are quite a number of them, but perhaps not as involved at the highest level as they would have liked. And in Appiah's comment, he wasn't even necessarily talking about their involvement in the technical side of the game. He was talking about their involvement in the administrative part of the game. The immediate thing that comes to mind really is the comment he made about the fact that running football or doing football is not about school, or it's not about degrees. Let me be
It's
not about
specific.
English.
It's not about English.
And big
Or
grammar.
who can
And big
speak big
grammar.
English or he can speak big grammar. However, when I have done a critical assessment of which people run football in the whole world, really, and all of them are literally those people that Appiah is referring to, the big English people, the big school people, from FIFA president to CAF president. None of them has ever played football. But arguably, and in the history of even FIFA,
Yeah.
I don't even know if a single footballer has ever become FIFA president, ex-footballer has ever become FIFA president. And that is running football at the highest level. So what are the merits of Appiah's reasoning here about the fact that football is not run by people who can merely speak English, which we interpret to mean it's not about people who have gone
Who
to
have
big
got
big
degrees,
schools.
yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, so you want me to get into the head of Stephen Appiah? That's going to be very difficult. But what I can say is that if you listen to Stephen Appiah carefully, I'm not sure he was merely referring to having former players within the national teams or close to the national teams. I think what he was trying to put across was to let us understand that former players can contribute to the governance of football in the country. And I I've had the privilege of engaging people who are close to Stephen Appiah, and even Stephen Appiah himself. I have the privilege of also engaging the leadership of the FA, including the FA president himself, both current and past. And one thing that is very clear is that many former footballers often feel that the game is theirs. So they should be given some responsibility when it comes to the governance of the game, or their opinions should be sought when it comes to the governance of the game. Many of us will recall, before Gianni Infantino became president, Luis Figo was in contention, right? He put himself there to contest for it. And they feel that they've got a network. And because they've played the game, indeed, they've got a network. But I'm not sure simply because you have played the game and you have the network, that is enough for you to be tasked with the responsibility of governing the game in the country. Because people are hired as managers because you want their managerial skill. People are hired as chief executive officers because they've got a certain knowledge when it comes to the governance. You have been on the pitch to play the game does not necessarily mean that you can be a very good manager when it comes to the governance of the game in the country. So, in that context, I would disagree with Stephen Appiah when he says that football management does not require degrees, because you need that degree to be able to get to that level of, say, a good manager. And in fact, we've seen it before. Very great footballers. Chelsea, your leading all-time goal scorer, Frank Lampard. He was a great player. Is he a great coach? You play the game doesn't mean that you'll be a very good coach.
Is that a rhetorical question, or I'm supposed to answer that?
Well, you can choose to answer. You can choose not to answer.
Are you tempted to?
No.
But the other side of the issue is that if you take a look at the structure of the FA as we have it right now, many of the former footballers feel that they should have at least given certain rules within the governance of the game. Why did Osei Kufuor resign? He says he's resigning to go and focus on his role as president of the PFAG, Professional Footballers Association of Ghana. And as you recall, the last conversation I had,
is that why he left?
That's what he's saying, and that is what I also heard. But as to whether that is exactly the reason, that's what I cannot tell. But what I've heard and what I've been told is that he said he wants to go and concentrate on his role as PFAG president.
Stephen
Appiah,
Appiah,
GFA communications director, did affirm that.
He did affirm that, yeah. So
Stephen Appiah himself was a national team coordinator.
Yeah.
I don't have any communication whatsoever about him leaving that role, but we know he's not involved.
Okay,
what happened there?
Okay, so I mentioned this last week. So I recall when they were reconstituting the management committee of the Black Stars after that disastrous performance we had at the World Cup, where the ministry directed the GFA to reconstitute the management committee of the national team. When they were setting that up, they decided to make Mark Addo the chairman of the committee. They finished with the committee, and in fact, they published the list of the committee. And later, they updated the list and included Stephen Appiah in the publication.
The initial publication didn't have his
Didn't
name.
have Stephen Appiah.
As part of the management committee.
As part of the management committee, he didn't have it.
And then later.
Later, they updated it and they included Stephen Appiah's name in there.
Okay.
So what I was made to understand was that the GFA president spoke to Stephen Appiah through the phone of the protocol officer of the FA, Alex Asante.
Deputy General Secretary.
Deputy General Secretary. So the GFA president asked Alex Asante to call Stephen Appiah for him. So he placed a call to Stephen Appiah and said, Kurt asked me to call you. He wants to talk to you. So in the telephone conversation, Kurt told Stephen Appiah, per what I was, per the information I got it, Kurt told him that he should come back and pick his role as the national team coordinator. The conversation happened twice. Then there was another call that came through the same Alex Asante with another information from Kurt. Kurt again spoke to him through the phone and told him that this time around you are going to be given they mentioned the name of it, or some kind of a new role within the management committee of the Black Stars. So at that point, in fact, I do recall that many people said that Appiah's reaction was quite positive after that conversation with the GFA president. But on the hindsight, Appiah felt that, but if the GFA president wants me to come and do something at the FA or the national team, why is he calling me through the deputy general secretary of the FA? Couldn't he have picked his phone and called me? He could have called me directly and said, "Oh, Stephen, I want you to do ABC," but not speak to me through the deputy general secretary. I find that to be quite petty anyway, but my opinion doesn't matter. It is the opinion of the Capito. At that point, he felt disrespected. And in fact, he also felt that if they needed him, they wouldn't have waited, reconstituted their committee, published their list, call him later, and come and update the list. So he felt he was not needed. So since then, Appiah has never played a role or joined them for any meeting. I remember prior to our qualification to the World Cup, when the GFA president and the committee, when they were going around doing their consultations, because they wanted us to beat Nigeria badly and qualify. Not even a single meeting that Steve Appiah attended. He didn't go to any of them. Till date, he has never played any role.
So you're saying that technically he's still a member of the management?
Technically, he's still a member. If you go on the FA website, he's still there. The management committee is still there. His name is there. But Stephen has never played any role since then.
Gary, I don't know what you make of all of this, because Stephen obviously is probably the most respected Black Stars player in the history of the game. Probably the most respected.
Neither that or top three, top 5,
regarded. I mean, we revere him, you know. But I don't know how we've come to this, because the whole thing Muftawu narrated, it doesn't appear to be so deep in my opinion.
So
but it seems it's caused a bit of a...
Guys, let me just add something pretty quick. There's a certain feeling within those who are close to Stephen Appiah.
Yeah.
This was a guy who pumped his personal money, flying down players to come and make the national team what it is today that we see.
He has said that much, yes.
He said it personally.
Yes, in that interview.
Okay. And guess what? If they are to mention the figures for you, Gary, Fentuo, Daniel, Sitsofe, you open your mouth and ask.
And he never got a refund for that.
No. And it was not something he was actually even asking for a refund.
Yeah. No. He did it voluntarily.
He did it voluntarily. So he feels that, come on, we've actually played our role in the national team, and we deserve some level of respect from those who are managing the game today.
Because to be fair to some of these players, a lot of them have actually made a lot of personal sacrifices financially to help the national team. Even the most recent examples include Andre Ayew. Remember during the era of normalization, there was a time they wanted players to come there. They said they didn't have money.
Oh yes,
Andre Ayew had...
That was 2016.
Yes,
when we were going to play Rwanda.
Yes, he had to take money out of his pocket to buy tickets for some of the players. Jan himself has chartered a plane for players. I remember they went to play a game against Congo, I believe.
Yeah.
He had to take money out of his pocket to charter a plane to bring the team home. So these players...
Did the player pay bonuses for the Black Queens or...
That was Asamoah.
Yeah, that was Asamoah Jan.
That was Jan.
Yeah,
so these players have done a lot.
That was 2015.
Yeah,
you know, made a lot of personal sacrifices. But I'm wondering if this is systematic, because you're saying you're narrating Appiah's own peculiar experience.
Yes.
But the way he spoke, it didn't seem to me like he was speaking for just Stephen Appiah. It seemed to me like he was speaking for the experience of many ex-players.
Ex-footballers, yes.
Do you get the feeling that, even if not intentional, there might be a systematic sidelining of our ex-players with this GFA administration?
Well, first of all, to add to everything Muftawu has said, I mean, I took the trouble also of, because you hear these interviews and sometimes you want to be sure that this is what the person said. So you go through the trouble of, especially because you don't want to write something when you have a relationship with certain people, and at least ask them, give them the respect and say, I've heard it, did you actually say it? What did you mean? Or what was the spirit behind what you said? You know, so I've similarly spoken to a couple of them, including the captain, the former captain himself. Spoken to a few top people at the PFAG, and Muftawu is right. There is a feeling that there is some sidelining of the guys, and it's not just in the national team, but in the running of football generally, that they are not probably as consulted as they should be. You see, so it's not just like saying that come and be a member of this committee or that, but there are many ways to involve people to make them feel respected. It is not just they feel putting them on a management committee or so and so, but you can have a quorum of people where before major issues are going to be put out, or policy or certain decisions around national team A or B or C, you can consult. That is what they call consultation. It appears that they feel like a lot of that has not been done. You remember the time where between 2008 and 2017, where we started having back-to-back defeat in semi-final, final. President Yantechi was so determined and frustrated and went like all out and said, what can we do? And you know, all sorts of theories came. Right down from appeasing those who had not been paid back in the 60s to ensure that whatever thing they said was inhibiting our progress and like whatever it was, to banish it once and for all. You see, to banish it once and for all. And it included, and that was the period that I saw, you know, a lot of stakeholder involvement, like ex-players being made part of the management committee unofficially, officially, them traveling with the team and so on and so forth. And you were saying in your intro, what have Senegal and Cameroon and some of these countries done, and how have they done it? And this is one of the ways that they have, involving them. So you went to the AFCON 2021, 2019. Before you look at the winners,
Duke was very involved,
and they are. And you know, I mean, I have an interview where I asked him about the involvement of the ex-players, and he says yes. I mean, there's a realization that they have done it before, and they can inspire, not just inspire really, but they can drop a few nuggets that no amount of degrees can give. And I think that is a communication from the PFAG side. I wanted to come down to that point, that there is a way. You see, when Stephen Appiah is speaking, and I think when I wrote it on a certain platform about the language he used and it not being his first language as well, and people didn't really, I think it was Mr. Kotoko with
he spoke Chi in that interview.
Yes, on the platform. So, and knowing Appiah and some of the way he talks and all that, I got the feeling, again, like I said, when I called him and a few others, that was what he wanted to say. That it is not just the fact that I, Stephen Appiah, or Muftawu Nabila, who has been an ex-Black Stars player, or Sitsofe or Danny, but you can involve us in many ways that can make our presence and our experience and what we know in our heads felt.
And I think to buttress the point you just made, was what he added to that when he said, we're contacts, you know.
Good.
We have the contacts.
Yes.
In other words, they're not making use of those contacts. Not necessarily about putting them in charge, but involving them. I agree with you.
So that is the import of what, on hindsight, you know, when I made further inquiries, and like I said, I spoke to a few people at the PFAG, the top hierarchy, and this is essentially what, it's not that, so they know that a lot of the ex-players currently don't have the requisite qualification. I mean, some of them are going through, you know, the licenses A, B, C, D, and whatnot. They are starting from the bottom, the Boating, Fatah Dauda, and so on. But they feel like even without that, where we are going and the trajectory of the GFA currently with this catch them young policy, they have some laudable things that they feel like these ex-footballers are not being involved. Now, following that backlash in the last 7 to 10 days, the GFA has had a few new programs.
Yes.
You have seen the immediate reaction of the GFA to that statement and this small friction.
Absolutely. I was
You
coming to
understand?
that.
Good.
When they launched GFA Foundation,
Yes, it was filled with ex-footballers.
aka Odate Lam.
Yes, so
the many ex-footballers.
Many ex-footballers. And you see, and that immediate reaction suggests that what these ex-footballers is saying is not entirely nonsense. Because if you look at the Confederation of African Football, especially from when Ahmad took over, the visibility for ex-footballers has been absolutely great. It's been like
always,
never before.
And very old to the Bible has been
matches.
They are always face saving. So all the initiatives, so it's like you see at the FIFA and the UEFA level. So legends are owning. And what it does also is that it's a very cheap way of getting legitimacy for your project.
Yes.
That's why for me, I don't see why like those who are arguing in favor of the GFA and being antagonistic in those arguments are arguing. You see, it's a cheap way.
Yeah.
So, and just a quick one. I listened to Danny Jordan say that when they were bidding for the SAFA president, when they were bidding for the 2010 World Cup, it was Ghana's very own Abedi Ayew Pele
He was an ambassador.
who was opening the doors.
Yes.
Wherever they went and Abedi Pele was there, the door is opened.
Yes.
That's a power.
So you see, that's basically the argument they are making. Whether the communication was not great or not, I think that we have exhausted the issue.
And there are merits in there.
We understand the points they wanted to make.
Yeah.
A lot of it is merited. Some may not be, but we sit at the table, we get it done and dusted. We have new there's under 23 coming. It's a fantastic opportunity to go to Algeria with a few ex-footballers in
Morocco.
In Morocco.
Yeah.
A few ex-footballers in certain key positions. Then you tell them, look, when it comes to the paperwork, this and this, you don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
So let's let this administrator do it. But you are going to be on the plane. This is going to be you make it.
Yeah,
very, very
and you see, and it much more critical. It's actually essential attachment, because the last time we went to the Olympics, these were the players, aka Stephen Appiah and co, who were there. Exactly.
Yeah.
The ones who are crying for involvement, they were the last crop of players to be at the Olympics. So it's a great point you make. And the conversation has dragged Carl to fall back into the studio. Because that's how much...
It hasn't necessarily dragged me back, because I was...
But you are here.
I was monitoring. I've been monitoring.
Okay.
And the crux of the matter is that I'm still not getting the point that was made by
Stephen.
Yeah, I'm still not getting it. And that's a worry for me. When you want to become a coach, where do you go?
Coaching school. Quick.
You get your badges.
What are the badges?
The license.
Certificates.
Certificates.
So there is still a methodology in which you must get to, regardless of whether you're the greatest footballer ever produced or not. So much as I jumped in and gave Odrosafo a dressing down for using those words,
In response to Appiah, yeah.
with hindsight, I think I should have toned down. Because in the long run, you will still need a certificate. And the certificate is in what language?
It's English.
It's in English. Or
So
based
that-
on the
It's normally in the foreign
Now,
language.
this thing happened about, this
Can we not
realization.
create one in Chi?
But it's in good grammar. Whatever language
This
it is, it's going to be in
realization
good
came
grammar.
about
big
as a
grammar,
result of when I did a similar program.
Yeah.
And Jerome Autry got up and raised the issue that there was a program that was organized by Neil Armstrong Motagbe,
Yes.
and only one ex-footballer turned up. I can't remember the name. Jerome was there. Neil is, quotation marks, one of the people FIFA deal with in Ghana when it comes to marketing and management. You'd have expected more players to be there.
Yeah.
Only one turned up. So I even chastised Neil plainly or jokingly that why did he do it in English? Why didn't he also get the Chi Ever, Dagbani, and the
Hausa.
Hausa, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And also, but that was playful. But you see, whether we like it or not, because English is our official language in this country, you will have to have some measure and modicum of English. The world over, English is the major language. So if you're not that necessarily fluent in French, you're not necessarily fluent in Spanish, you're not necessarily fluent in Chinese, which has now become the 5th language that is done
Widely
at the
spoken.
UN,
Yeah.
widely spoken, but at the UN, then it means that when you're going to the likes of FIFA and whatnot, you want to communicate, you should be able to articulate your argument in English.
Yeah, but isn't the whole language reference from Steven merely a symbolism or representation?
Yes.
It's maybe just an iota of the message he wanted to send across.
Yeah, so, I don't think
that is-
perhaps the expertise
that is-
downplaying the expertise of in the language.
Which is exactly the point I was driving home, that I still don't get it. Because I've listened to that tape again.
Yes.
And my worry now is, if I'm the PR person behind him, I'm going to have a bit of a task trying to take away
Yeah.
the thoughts that the likes of Odrosafo had.
Yeah.
And that led to that outburst. Okay?
Yeah.
So it's important now for players to also look at themselves again,
Agreed.
and not, please, and not Stephen, every single player, and look at ways and means in which you can, quote, one, enhance yourself,
Position.
but more importantly,
Fence said position.
gear yourself towards that top. Because when you take a
If you
look,
are interested.
good, if you take a look at the world over, there's only been one ex-footballer that has headed a federation,
Yeah, Mitchell.
Michel Platini.
Yeah.
Yeah.
UEFA.
And had it not been for the rubbish that happened between
He and then
him and Blatter, he would have
Blatter.
been FIFA
President
By
by now.
now.
By now, for sure.
Yeah.
But he's one out of the ordinary. Even on the African continent here, where we like to have so many, how many ex-footballers? Off my head, I can only think of 2. I may be wrong. Okay, 3 right now. Kalusa Bulaya, who is
Yeah.
one. Ben Kofi,
Gone, yeah.
and Samuel Eto'o.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you sit down, and I'm sorry for bringing this up, if you, when you watch TV, when you watch Super Sports, and you see the Nigerian footballers coming there,
Yeah.
and articulating their points,
Yeah.
you sometimes really shake your head and say, wow.
To be fair, didn't our own Sami Gufo open that door?
I won't reveal why it was shut.
No, not why it was shut. Maybe we have to review why it was open in the first place. You know, maybe after you make
it
your
was
point.
opened in the first place,
Yeah.
due to the great Abedi Pele.
Again, that's the first
It was
point.
when
No, but
DS
Mr. Tufo, I think you have to. You have to explain this point because it's important in the
It
long
is,
run.
yes.
It's important in the long run for people, our well-meaning listeners who feel like, yeah, Apia and the other that's intrigue and not from sir.
You know,
Sure.
we better.
I
You know they ground like that. So
like
Mr.
it,
Tufo,
and
please go ahead.
Let's go.
he wants me to receive the brunt of it.
No.
When I had gone on, hold on, yeah, come here.
Before opening the
Okay,
door.
no,
Now Jan is there.
Let
to
me
be
explain
fair.
to you. Let me see. Jan has already made an impact due to his World Cup and African Nations Cup exploits.
Yes.
Lai was
They are
there too.
highly impressed with him and are going to maintain him so long as they can afford him. Okay?
Lai did an AFCON there too, right?
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
John too. Pencil.
John Pinto.
John
Yeah.
Pinto
Yes,
too.
I know. John goes in and out, but John seems to have been elevated to do the official co-commentary
Yeah.
now.
He's a summarizer with Kafu.
Yeah.
When I say
Chami was
elevated,
there.
okay, whichever way you want to see
and,
it. Yes, he's now.
And then CK did the last World Cup as well.
Yes,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
No, CK did the
That one was for
2010 because
AUB.
at the time.
no, even for this World Cup.
no,
it was
no,
AUB.
the last World Cup.
2022 World Cup.
So you
With
see,
AUB. It was in France.
2002.
No, no,
Like 2020.
the recent
There's no
one
one.
in Qatar.
He was with
AUB in
Yeah.
France.
AUB.
Yeah.
And we know why
it's-
Sitsofe went.
Okay,
No,
AUB.
see, he wants me to-
AUB. We have George Lomote there, so
But the point I'm making, you see,
No, but let me chip this one in.
yes.
Let me chip this one in. Okay, no, yeah, go on.
George Lomote is the key factor in getting many Ghanaians.
Factos.
that's all.
Factos,
That's
yeah.
No, you can't run away from it.
So
But
it's
shall
now-
we say? But you see, the point you want to make that Sitcho has been dying to make is that you see,
Let him make it.
you want Sitcho, you want to say that the people we have people who can open the door, but when they go in there,
People must be
able to appreciate. So super sport, it's not the first time that, for example, names like Mr. Augustine Ahemfo have come up. Like for about 10 years.
Yesterday you tweeted something.
You-
May your name be mentioned in areas that
There are a lot
you
of
not
things
there.
I was saying, like, and I tweeted a few weeks ago that the branding there, it will take you there. Remember, I
is the
tweeted
point.
that.
It's not the greatest on the
branding
field of
will
play.
take you there.
deliver them.
Look, call a spade a spade.
Yes,
Whether liked or not, is the ability to speak the bleh.
it is a, you see, and articulate your point.
I don't want us to dwell too much on the English speaking. I think I think he mentioned that, and it's even more serious because I think he mentioned that to sort of summarize, quote unquote, the education factor.
Yes.
No,
And you
in
see-
literature, it's called synecdoche.
Look,
using a part to represent
The whole.
Yes.
and you see
I know where
that is
people
more serious.
People took to you, Fence, and people took to Danny K, and people take to Phil, and people take to Gary, and people take to Muftawu, because of the ability to articulate what they want to say.
Of course.
Are you aware of that?
Apia used a literary
No,
device
but
in
see,
the
but,
in the
see, that
speech.
is-
So that's deep.
Dan, all over the world, is there any office or any federation that Anthony Bafo cannot head?
Yes, they are, and I'll explain.
No, you see,
Anthony Bafo has been able to build himself in a way that even when he's seated before the FIFA president, he listens to him with attention.
But there are places he cannot head, and I will explain. Like when Danny
see,
finish, I'll come there.
guys.
Listen, there's something we need to separate.
Yeah, Daniel.
So
wait,
when Danny
we
finish,
need to
I'll
move
come
on.
there.
We need to
Yeah.
make a head.
where we've reached,
Yes.
look, education is prime.
Yeah.
It is extremely important.
Crucial.
Look, when the Ghanaian the Ghanaian ex-players, when they look at their colleagues and they feel like over here they are not appreciated.
Oh, I was better than that footballer.
Edu, when he finished football, he went for courses. That's why he's sitting in the Arsenal office. Rui Costa is not president of Benfica because he was a former player. He
No,
was
a good one.
He's
Or
a good-
Maldini.
He's gone to
He's a
school.
management
Maldini has
good-
gone to
good,
school.
yeah.
Nedved has gone to school.
Chiellini before he finished
Chiellini has gone to school.
Salihamidzic.
All of them. But
Bayern
you see,
Munich.
it's not just 1-2 courses. They went through proper school.
Oliver Kahn.
Some even started before
Yes.
they finished their careers.
Yes.
So they are not there because they are legends. They are not there because they played the game. They are not there because they were good footballers. They are there because they have the expertise. They have the paperwork to prove it. They've gone through the right schooling. Plus, they also have experience of being footballers.
Yeah.
So the primary thing is the education.
Education.
It's not the football that you played. The football that you played is a plus. So for me, when Stephen Appiah is talking about having contacts and things, you see, it's extremely important because outside he's experienced the sort of systems that we want to incorporate. But how are you going to explain to us if you've not gone to the school, if you don't properly understand, if you don't properly, you see, a good player is not a good teacher. The fact that you did it doesn't mean that you can come
can
and
show
translate
somebody
it.
how to
No.
do it, yeah.
So it's the school that teaches you how to do that thing. And if you've not gone through that schooling, there's really no difference between somebody who's gone to school, administrator who goes to internship in Italy for 1 year and comes
And
back.
even Daniel, to be fair, even the ex-players who were excellent as footballers and have gone to school and have become coaches, some of them are showing everywhere.
No, you see,
I'm saying
Yeah.
they've played the game, they've added the education, it's still not working.
That was
Yes,
tough.
and that is even on a coaching level. But I feel like it's more. I think he was talking more of like administrative because
Yes,
if you go to
yes,
the coaching, if you go to
yes.
the coaching, honestly, if you go back, there's really no. They don't have a case there because past we've had several ex-players on in terms of coaching, be it not necessarily the head coach, but as part of the coaching staff. So I think he was talking more of administration.
yeah.
And when you go down that level, honestly,
Yeah.
honestly,
More of them no
honestly,
reach.
if you don't have the paperwork, if you've not gone to the school, the only thing they can do for you is we are doing a project, they come and show
Yeah.
face. That's
Join
lit-
the
that's
team, do
yeah,
this,
come
do-
and join
yeah.
the team.
Ambassadorial
But if you want-
job.
yeah,
That is
if
no
you want to
impact,
be involved
really.
in the decision making process. as to whether we should do this policy or not,
And why.
and why.
Yes.
You have to go to the school.
Now, Fent, let me, you see, we need to separate the two things.
Yeah.
There's football politics, and there is doing football or playing football. Those who are playing football are the coaches and the players and their technical team. Those who are doing football politics are the federation heads. That's why I said Tony Bafo might not be able to head some federations because he might not be able to win power.
Yes.
Oh, no,
He might get hold on.
Even in Ghana,
No, hold on.
Even in Ghana, when it comes to the politics, he will not win.
Thank you. So that's what I'm
No,
saying.
even
That
in Ghana,
he
so
can-
yeah.
you see, when Uncle Carl mentioned,
Which is why that
Don't
Drogba,
mention-
to be fair, did not win.
yes, because he's a great politician.
Yeah.
That is why when Don Carl mentioned Platini, I know that. Do you know what? Platini, after football, had gained his coaching badges. He was a pro licensed coach. He started coaching and ditched coaching. What did he start doing? He started doing football politics. How? By working with the then FIFA president Blatter.
Yes.
And you remember he became a consultant at FIFA.
Yeah.
And at FIFA started plugging himself into the UEFA politics.
Yeah.
So it was easy for him. So when others were coaching and playing football, he was doing football politics. When the Black Star players were playing the Black Stars, Kat and Co were doing football politics. They are two separate terrains. Make no mistake, they are two separate terrains. When they were playing for the Black Stars and going to the World Cup and the AFCON, Kat and Co were doing politics. Are you following? When Platini dropped his coaching and said, I don't want to be in the dugout again, I'll be a consultant for FIFA and Blatter. And in fact, they got an issue that FIFA paid him recently.
Yes.
The matter that got them, you know,
Suspended.
and then he went on to become what? The UEFA president. Almost became the FIFA president because he had dished the on-field issue and was doing politics. Now, if Stephen Appiah and Co are talking about football administration, they must start doing football politics. They must try and win power.
Yeah.
And winning power in Ghana, you don't have to be anybody to win it. According to what
Just
you
do
have
the
here.
politics.
Do the politics.
Yeah, but you do the politics within Ghana in the context that if you have a vote, you must have a club. You must be a member of that family.
Yes.
Oh, but even now, after
So
normalization,
that's it.
you don't need to own a club to even start.
Yeah.
After normalization, if you remember,
You and I can just
yes, you and I can just walk in.
Yeah.
But realistically, you need to win.
However,
Realistically,
in August,
yes,
that
might
is going to be
change.
reviewed.
Yes, I'm talking about what
Yes,
you have
no.
now. Realistically, you won't win. That's what I'm saying. That the football politics is different from what you do on the pitch. The other thing too is this: we can reference everywhere else in the world, but every other person we reference had prepared himself or herself to be in that position.
True.
And when
True.
and when you mention Tony Bafo would be a great appointment for any federation because he is qualified to.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean he would be a proper candidate in a political environment like the GFA. He won't win in Ghana.
Yeah.
Stephen Appiah won't win
We
in
all
Ghana
know, that we
because
all
the
know.
Congress will vote. It's purely politics, not by your footballing ability.
Okay.
Are you following?
Yeah.
So I'm saying that if the players want to be involved in Ghana football administration, they must understand the football politics and take power. Samuel understood the politics in Cameroon and took power. He said, "Rigobert, you come, you do the job." And let's be fair to the FA. Gone by. We went to the World Cup with an ex-Black Stars player as our coach.
Yeah.
We went there with
And the management committee member who is an expert Black Stars player.
two of them, Tony Bafo and Sami Kufo.
Samuel Kufo was the only legal member. Tony was.
But he was
No,
so.
no,
So
no.
we've been speaking
fact,
here that we
Tony,
can add them
Tony
to
had
the
a position.
No, even without it.
And even now,
it.
Tony has a position at the
But
FA.
what you
It's just
said
that
here-
it's not public knowledge.
Yeah.
Tony has.
What is that?
He's the business development manager of the FA.
Muftawu, granted he doesn't even have a position. We've said here that you can attach them to some team ABC. He was an attaché.
Yes.
He didn't go. Yes.
No, he was with
Yes.
the team. It's a
And before then, our former Black Stars coach was a former Black Stars player, Kwesi Appiah.
Yes.
He was assistant for a very long time.
Kwesi Appiah was
Maxwell Kunedu, Sika Kono.
Yeah.
Yes.
It be the same Ghanaians and talk say they sack them because when they got the job, it appears they didn't have the required expertise to deliver.
Yeah.
So we can speak about them being I have a very lovely personal relationship with Steven. I chat with him.
Yeah.
But you can speak about their ability, their style. They were great footballers. But when it comes to doing the job of the talent,
There's
it's a
certainly
different ball
expertise,
game.
but I
You see,
agree.
football administration is not talent. Football administration is knowledge. But you see, it's impossible for me to sit here and say that you play football to a certain level and you don't have something in you that can help progress football in a terrible football space like Ghana. When a football we deal.
Yeah.
So people who have played to a certain level can help.
Yeah.
So we need to find a way of roping them in. But they must be ready to set themselves at a level where their knowledge can be counted on because they've been prepared for it.
Yeah.
Finally, do you know why this coach Martinez, now of Portugal, kept so long in Belgium? When the Belgian players had gone for international break A player like Kevin De Bruyne, he was doing his badges. A player like Azawitzel, he was doing sports management
the
and sports
Belgian
science.
FA came up with that policy.
Yes, and he was heading it.
Yeah.
Martinez was heading it. Aside coaching, they were doing that. So when they go for the international break for the 2 weeks, they train tomorrow, they go and study.
Yeah.
They train tomorrow, they go and study. By the time these Belgian players, veteran, have you seen Vincent Company?
Yep.
Now they say Chelsea want him.
By the time they finish playing football, by the time they finish playing football, they are ready.
Properly equipped.
They are ready.
But
So when Vincent Company is doing well, and Kevin De Bruyne is playing football on the pitch like a coach, and these players
not
are
by accident.
It's not by accident. They have the knowledge. That is what we need to start propagating.
All right, thank you.
Point well.
Thank you.
So what? So in
Brilliant.
conclusion,
Yeah, in conclusion,
In conclusion.
they should add knowledge to themselves, and then the FA
should be ready.
Yeah, they should be ready. Then the FA should also be willing to rope them.
Let
in.
me say a very
But
good afternoon to brother Fifi Taki. sent a very lovely message in summarizing everything I've said.
In fact-
knowledge and wisdom.
that's it.
In fact,
All right,
he said
I've got-
Muftawu 3 times.
Fifi has texted everyone. Except me. Except you. Fifi can't say you
please
didn't
add on
text
Kalito.
you. Add on
Let's
Kalito.
complete your message.
Otherwise, problem.
All right, I've got a lovely message for you, Carl. This message is it's from Sam Bannerman in the US.
Old Sam
Thank
Bannerman.
you. He
Yeah.
says it is great hearing the voice of Mr. Kaltifo once again in
Legendary.
Joy FM studios. It brings back memories while we were colleagues at Joy FM. And he says, please say it loud, this jingle for me. I just love Joy
He's not,
FM.
he's not the only one who is hidden somewhere in the stage.
Rocco.
Papa Pentel. I knew.
Ariado. I'm talking about the Joy FM people.
Yes.
Yes.
Andrew Owusu.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
GAA.
I'll mention it. Kweku Buafo Ajimai.
Yes.
Then the list is not complete, please. It's a long list.
No, he said
Of
to join
Joy
the-
FM.
Oh,
No, those who were with this station
this station.
when
Ah.
the station was, when Kwesi Chum's office was sitting somewhere down here.
Gupta wanted to ask Asari, but we can't.
The whole
With-
concept of this program absolutely fantastic.
Thank you.
Discussion based with humor
Yeah.
and based with lots of free will. I think this is the way it's going. The point raised about Platini working with Blatter,
Yeah.
I think it's important to say that it didn't even start with Blatter. It started with
Avalanche.
yeah, have lunch.
Platini stopped playing in 88,
Yeah.
Okay.
got his badges, and coached the French team, if you remember, at the 1992 Euros.
Yes.
Right.
Immediately after that Euros,
Yeah.
I was 7.
oh dear, oh dear,
Yeah.
That was
After that, you know,
he ditched,
I was too.
he ditched
I
that
was a black
aspect
clot.
of it because his focus was, I'm going to become the first footballer to become FIFA president.
Yeah.
And he used the appropriate way, passing through Europe, making sure that this guy left. Lennart Johansson, the one who contested Avalanche
Avalanche, yeah.
for 1998,
Right.
and then putting himself forward, because once Avalanche Johansson had left the scene, the path had
The
been
part
created
that
for
been
him.
cleared.
Fantastic.
The
Brilliant.
same could apply here. As Philip said, you will need
Position
to
yourself.
position yourself and bide your time and know when to strike.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Perfect.
And in fact,
I've got more
something
messages.
like that is happening at the PFA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The messages are WhatsApp. 055 11 11 997 055 11 11 997. Lots of your messages have coming. Also on the hashtag game plan on Twitter. That's where we're taking your messages. I want to read some messages that have coming. This one says, how can Nabila said, how can you refer to Appiah's reaction as petty? It's the same respect that the players are calling for. So you do not show respect. He
Was
said,
Muftahu's appointment to join
he said was Muftahu's appointment that oh, you see, people have to stop this. Okay. He said, anyway, his point is, let's not trivialize their concerns.
yeah, they are-
That's
Oh, yeah,
fair.
of course.
But you two, the message you've sent, have you shown respect? So the respect again, we can all call for respect every now and then. Anyway, thank you very much. You don't add your name to the message. Okay, I've seen it. I've seen it here. Well, all right. You are a consistent texter, but you've never added your name. Wow. Okay, thank you. Next time, add your name, or else I won't read the message. I've got more messages here. This one says, this is Mrs. Evelyn. Okay, I don't think this message is for me. All right, so I'm going to skip it and go to this one. It says, sake of... Hey!
Yeah, sent it 1, 2, 3, 7 times.
He says, sake of Harry Maguire. I nearly got bent yesterday. In fact, I don't know what kind of player this guy is. I think they should sell him to Kobe. Oh, for Kobe.
The slim man.
Yes.
What is he thinking about now?
He's not thinking.
There's another message.
You were telling me in my face. Trouble.
He's not thinking.
Double.
Let me read.
I don't think.
Very single.
Yeah. Godwin in North Carnegie has a message for Carl. He says it's always a. Okay, it says Carl. Oh, those were the sports journalists. Those were the sports journalists who. So we know we are what?
We are plantain farmers.
We know we are.
So you read again.
Now why have you gone back to my message? Why? Let me finish. It says, those were the sports journalists who, not what we have now. Hey, this
Let's go.
people are not showing respect to us. It says, wait, let me finish it. It says, can he please be a regular on the show? Can we talk about Man United's horror show last night, please? Godwin, don't worry.
How many times have you not Fentuo said,
please,
John Terry, those were the days
can
when
I answer the question about
there's no question.
No,
it says this one.
No, being a regular.
Yes.
The problem has to do with
money.
The money.
But that notwithstanding, let me say this from the bottom of my heart. In response to what Godwin said, I think the current generation, unfortunately, some, not all, some are tarnishing the few that I know who are damn bloody good. Sorry to use these words, and I repeat, the few that I know who are damn bloody good. And all 5 of you in this studio are in that category. There are others in other radio stations I listen to and I say, wow. Because most of the things, Godwin, that they say are based on research and facts. And for me, the substance of any discussion and the competency you exhibit must be based on facts and figures. And the 5 in-house here,
what's the course you teach at GIG?
Intro to Sports Journalism, Intro to PR.
You have just started a lesson, but we have not paid tuition. So that's where there
are people here, the 5 of you.
Yes.
I have the utmost respect for you. So
yes.
Godwin, I'm not too sure it's fair to say that back in the day, there was virtually only like quote 1, then later Joy came 2, then Gold, then 3. Now we have a whole bunch of them.
True.
It's true that some are making noise.
True.
And that noise tends to drown out what the good guys are doing. But Charlie, these 5 here, and I'll mention other names.
Go ahead.
Names like Nathan Kwao.
Brilliant guy.
Solid
Okay.
guy.
Names like who came before him, like Sammy Battels.
Hey.
Okay. Names
Also.
like
Erasmus Kwa. OTAJ.
Erasmus. Michael. Names like this chap. Oh God, Felix Romack.
Yeah,
Yes.
Felix,
Okay.
solid
Right.
guy.
There are people there, and I'm saying that it blows my mind. Jeromochi.
Yeah.
It blows my mind when they come up with stats and figures. And this new dark, what's his name?
Oh.
Acheku from Pong.
Oh, check
I think to be fair, the new school are doing really well.
You have to. So, Godwin, please
tone down a bit.
Thank you.
Let me read
Don
more.
Calito.
This message is from Hope in Odumasi Krobo, and he says, "Good afternoon. In fact, point blank, there is nothing wrong with what Capito said. Success is not only about degrees. The fact is that this is what our society has turned into: disrespect and indiscipline everywhere. Stephen Appiah should be the last person any Ghanaian should show any level of disrespect." And he says, "I don't think anyone says education is not good. Education is very good, but what grammar hasn't been spoken in Ghana? And why are we still beggars?" Hope has taken the thing.
And if Hope says that, which is quite truthful,
Yeah.
then it means that why have Ghanaians too, including Hope himself, why do you vote for John Mahama or Nana Akufo-Addo or Sammy Nkrumah? Why don't you go and vote for the other quotation marks onipa na ontumi
On cover of okay. Prince from Makati Hill says, please tell Apia that the fact that you're a student doesn't mean you can manage a school. The fact that you're rich doesn't mean that you can own a bank. Being in the administration of sports requires education and knowledge.
The fact that you own an American sports franchise doesn't mean you can manage football.
Anyway, thank you guys.
The fact that you own an American sports franchise doesn't mean you can manage football.
Okay, let me use my English literature. Who is that? Pray tell.
Who is that? Pray.
TV,
What kind of poem is that? Is that a haiku?
When shall we three meet again? In thunder, in lightning, or rain?
Oh,
When the hurly belly is done. When the battle's lost and won. I never understood anything. I chose the Babachu just to pass my English literature.
Oh, it's like interestingly, I still remember all 8 poems in my head from the literature I studied in secondary school.
You don't be serious student.
Have you met a literature student before?
You're not a serious student.
Like piano.
You the learn cut exam goes on place. You the cheer Baba carry on for life.
Oh yeah.
You speak French like me.
Like Gabriel O'Carroll's piano
But you
and
speak
drums.
French like me.
When at
Pierre to see, we let to see. A travail, no, Pierre, what do you mean? Whatever it's supposed to be.
Interesting. There was a time when we were in secondary school, we studied 8 poems in the elective literature. If you didn't memorize the poems, you were not a good literature student.
Yeah.
Then you will be walking around and you meet a colleague. When at break of day, then you take the next line. When at break of day, at the riverside, I hear jungle drums telegraphing, the mystic rhythm, agent roar. Then everybody is going. Anyway,
Let's make some money.
let me tell you about Duraplast. For over 50 years, Duraplast Limited, your reliable partner for quality plastic products such as PVC and HDPE pipes of various sizes, have over the years progressed to become a leader in the plastic industry in West Africa and part of Central Africa. Yes, where you live matters, where and how you store your water matters as well. How do you check the level of water in your water storage tank at home or at the workplace? Do you hit the side and listen like Kaltifo, boom, boom, boom? Or do you climb all the way to the top to look inside like Muftawu and Nabila does? And that's why Water Tank, the ultimate tank for water storage by Duraplast Limited, comes with an optional water level indicator that lets you know exactly how much water you have in your water tank. It is not only beautiful, but it's also designed to carry accurate volumes of water. So 5,000 liters means 5,000 liters. And of course, it's very durable and available in various sizes. So get yourself a water tank today from Duraplast. Water Tank. What a tank. Remember, where Duraplast goes, water flows. And let me tell you about Pentecost Hour, a religious broadcast program sponsored by the Church of Pentecost. It comes your way with the chairman of the Church of Pentecost, Apostle Eric Nyamiche, on Joy 99.7 FM at 1:30 p.m. every Sunday. So tune in as Apostle Nyamiche brings you live transforming truth that nourishes the soul, ignites passion, and restores hope in the nations. The Church of Pentecost, we are possessing nations for the Lord. Gary.
Oh, magnify the Lord with us and let us exalt his name together at the Joy Corporate Worship 2023. It's a mega gathering of corporate Ghana and all businesses unto the Lord in worship and supplication. With one accord and a heart of gratitude, let's all come together and worship and appreciate our God for his provision and protection even in the midst of scarcity and uncertainty. Venue is the Royal House Chapel, Ahimfie, 28th April, 6 p.m. So that will be next week Friday, I believe, right? Yes. Leading us in worship will be MOG, Celestine Doko and others. Don't miss this corporate opportunity to lay it all at his feet in worship at the Joy Corporate Worship. For further inquiries, please call this number 0302 216 540. That's 0302 216 540. Supported by Apostle General Sam Kranchiankra and the Royal Chapel, Ahimfie.
Nice one. That's it. You're done?
Danny, take one and then we'll take it one by one.
Yeah, Abeku intentionally gave me this one.
Why?
They bounced me, but I'll still read it. Your Sunday night just got more exciting. It's the real deal. It's official. It's cues and lyrics.
Really. Show us something. You came here to slack.
So when I finish, let me finish reading it. I'll drop some few lines and we'll go. The way he's looking at me. It's a music competition that aims at unearthing music potential in contestants while also providing the Joy Prime cherished listeners with ultimate entertainment. Watch the 12 budding musicians as they journey to stardom. Don't miss out on this experience every Sunday at 8:30 p.m. only on Joy Prime. Cues and Lyrics is produced by Joy Prime and powered by Hits FM. Cues and Lyrics, bring on the music. Joy Prime, the ultimate experience.
That's right.
Shine
Now,
bright
really.
like a diamond. Shine bright like a diamond.
Go on.
I beg you.
Let him finish.
That's a disaster. Considering that his father played the bass guitar and drums. Oh my goodness.
That's below par. That's what the guy was saying, that the journalists of old, like the singers of old.
I'm sorry for bringing the family in here. Let me not forget.
No, it's okay.
The mom
Yes.
was a lead singer. So when you have a lead singer, father sings, mother sings, father plays drum, plays bass guitar.
And then
You see, in keeping with the discussion, that a great player does not make a good coach. The fact that your mother was a lead singer, the fact that your mother was a lead singer, your father was a good bassist, does not mean that you are really.
See, I'm Jane, right now I'm Jay-Z.
Really. You don't worry. We'll come back to you. Show something small.
Yeah.
Ajemi.
Now, just to finish, COVID is still here with us, so please go and get vaccinated, all right? There are vaccines available at all health facilities in Ghana. They are safe, they are effective, and they are free. They are free for everyone above 15 years. Protect yourself by getting vaccinated. If you have had your first and second dose of the vaccines, then please go for the booster, right? The booster dose is an effective addition to increase your immunity against COVID-19. Things aren't as cool as they look. Protect yourself and your family and your community.
Thank you very much, Gary.
And that's important. I've already taken my second booster.
Yeah, you've done well.
Yeah, just about 2 weeks ago.
Oh, nice.
Because you know that if you're going to the US,
Yes.
You need
they're
it.
extremely fastidious when it comes to
They.
being.
Yes. Yeah.
No,
We
but-
experienced it before. Let me read this message. It's from our good friend Annie Osabuti.
Yeah.
He says, do you think KDB would have gotten whatever he's getting if the system didn't allow him? We don't respect these guys and their craft beyond their footballing skills. A guy goes to a foreign land with no language skill or so, comes back with 3 or more, and you think they won't apply wisdom to the game when they get the chance? The system is set up not to allow them to be part of it. Why do you think Tony Yeboah doesn't want anything to do with our football? No wonder we are in such a mess, because the motive is more about the pocket rather than developing the game.
Oh, quick point on that. And as much as we love to bash sometimes we need to give credit where it's due. In the last 5 years, and we are all witnesses to it, a lot of coaching batches and courses have been made available. If I am wrong,
Yes,
Even
quite
in the
a
last
lot.
1 year.
in the last 1 year, like it's so many, it's ridiculous now.
From
all the
License D.
From
All the
ICT.
IFAs are organizing.
Look. Somebody was even telling me last week after the show that we did here in things. All of us must have at least a license D.
Yes.
Because there is, our colleague, if you are impressed, she's done her license D and she's coaching.
Yes.
But I have a slight problem with that.
What?
For me,
Yeah.
the reason is this. Azuma Nelson told me one thing.
Okay.
What annoyed him more than most is when he's in the ring and he's fighting with somebody, and then the guy lands a blow on his head, and all he's seeing are stars, if you know what I mean when I say stars.
Yeah.
Okay, all he's seeing are stars, and then you hear somebody in his corner shouting, "Champ, dodge more blow, dodge more blow." He can't see the bloody thing coming. So for me, the reason why I say I wouldn't want us is that, with all due respect to us, we haven't played the game at that level before.
Yes.
We don't know what it is like to when somebody really kicks you on the shin
Yes.
with this.
Yeah.
So I think it is imperative that ex-footballers
Footballers.
go in there. And
Yeah.
that is the reason why I personally made it a habit and a point when I was here and I took it with me to GBC, that when it comes to analysis on Euros and Africas and Worlds, we should have ex-footballers sitting there, panel. So long as obviously they can speak. Yeah. Now we've got a whole proliferation of them who speak. A handful speaks very well. Larry Kingston speaks very well. So too does Joe Ado and the rest. And that's we should be the quotation marks, the layman throwing the questions, and we allow them to analyze.
So first, just for Ani Osabute, you see, and Ani has been saying this a lot of the time, but to be fair, in the last year and 2 years, the opportunities have been available, and for those who are closer to some of these ex-footballers, you know, they'll be honest. We worked with some of them in the last 3 years here, Muftawu, you know, on some competitions, and the number of people who have told them that the information is available now. They are like start somewhere.
There's no excuse now.
Look,
you can't blame the system.
And we don't want to mention it, Muftawu, you know.
You can't blame the system now.
You know, they should start
the
somewhere.
FA actually organized analysis.
Yes, analysis.
An analysis course.
Banditry.
I tried to get Danny K to go. He didn't go.
No, but the thing is,
if he went, he was going to get
right now.
there's no excuse, especially in this. There's no excuse.
Yeah.
Absolutely no excuse.
I agree. Anyway, guys, thank you very much. We need to move. Muftawu Nabila, will you stop talking? We need to move the conversation on. Okay. All right. So, what's his name? He sent in another Sakatu in London from Luton. He says, senior most cow to 4. He must be a regular on the show because you must pay large to keep the gems. Oh my joy!
I love the name, I love the name.
And then our good friend Godwin sent another message, Carl, and he says he didn't mean to disrespect the current guys on Joy FM. If he sounded so, I have been a Joy FM listener for close to 30 years, and I know what I'm talking about. Please, where's Kofi Opariado? I think you heard him. Carl said he's in the US. He said another solid pro. Godwin, thank you very much.
And should we mention that Godwin is the only person who has mentioned Carl on this WhatsApp and spelled his name properly?
Yes,
he's the only person. Carl's name, he will tell you, is K. It's Carl with a K, not Carl with a C.
And Gary is the only one who spells my surname correct. Everybody else get that.
Oh, that one.
Carl, I got it right too.
Yes. Anyway, guys, thank you. Let's move the conversation on. So of course, we're running until 2:50, so we have roughly about 18 more minutes to wrap up here on the show, which is live on Twitter Spaces. More than 300 people are listening to us on Twitter Spaces. We'll try and see.
Solid.
Yeah, it's quite a lot. We're also streaming on Facebook and on YouTube. Later, this show will be available on YouTube on the Joy News channel. Yeah. That's the main YouTube channel for Joy FM, or for the multimedia group. Let me put it that way. Joy News. That's where they upload the video episodes of Game Plan after the show. On the same platform, you'll find an audio version of the show on our website as well. We'll make it available. We'll share it across our social media platforms. So if you missed it, or if anybody missed it, you know where to find it. And you have two options: an audio option, which you can listen in your car if you have low data,
or if you are going on a jog.
Thank you.
I'm told people like to listen to the
the podcast exactly when you. So it's audio. So low data. So you can. We shared across our social media platforms, JoySports GH on Twitter, our personal handles as well. So you can find it there, the audio version, and then the video version is also on Joy News. If you want to see all the antics of Riri, Kalito.
He's Jay-Z now.
It's Jay-Z now.
Okay.
You know, back in the day,
Charlie, anyone cover Beyonce?
back in the
Shakira.
You know, back in the day, me and you see, but that's why I don't understand this Koranteng boy, Kalito. Koranteng, when he sees me, he should be calling me uncle, because when we first started this job together, when I moved to Accra together, and our former employee, I was entrusted with the care of this boy. The first trip we made, you see, he's laughing. He knows the story I'm about to tell.
Let's move on. no, but you also saw. Let's move on.
You saw the watch. The watch shall not say it.
That I don't say it.
Let's move on.
I will say it.
So thank you. I saw a picture of you on social media. You were wearing a certain.
Nabila, you are off crowd. Let's come back to the matter. Daniel Kalito, I said. The first time ever.
So are you?
Time to go.
Sicho,
Let's go.
You don't want to know why Daniel must call me Uncle
Another
Fence.
time. Another time.
Time no day. Time no
Another
day.
time. This is why you have been beaten. Another time.
Okay.
What are we talking about?
No. I know exactly what we are talking about.
How about you say?
Manchester United.
Of course.
I love that.
Of course. Sicho, yesterday, Man United crashed out of Europe in very embarrassing fashion. There are fallouts from that. Obviously, there are reports that Man United fans are threatening to bomb Harry Maguire's home, and he's reported the matter to police. The police have come to sweep his home, looking for the bomb because he received threats that they will bomb his home, and all of this because
As in Tupaye. Bomb.
my brother, what's up, bomb? I'm on the field. I'm not report. I'm a police.
This one is not pale. This one.
No, yeah, and he see. Let's be fair. He has his lovely fiancée and
Wife.
him, they have.
Yeah. He's married now.
They
He's
have.
married.
They have. Please.
He's married. He's married.
No, it's the first
he's not
time. It's the
fiancé.
first time.
No, he's married.
He's married. He's married.
It's not the first.
They have 2 children. In fact, so they had to carry the children
Oh.
out
And
of
that's
the
not the
house
first time.
and allow the police to come and sweep the house looking for the bomb.
Because of an attempted back pass.
Yeah.
All of this because
Yeah.
he's had quite the horror show. By his own standards, even this is bad. Obviously.
Yeah.
They lost 3-0 to Sevilla, got kicked out of Europe. Man United, in January, were in 4 competitions. Were playing really well. Rashford was in this kind of form where he had scored in how many consecutive matches?
Plenty.
14 consecutive games. It looked like nothing could go wrong for Man United. Casemiro looked like a completely new player. Fred looked reformed. My brother,
Yeah.
6 weeks or 7 weeks later, it's almost things fall apart. And it looked to me like it started after they won the Carabao Cup. Sicho, and now people are even calling for the head of Eric Ten Hag. How has United had such a season in one end where it looked like this was the new era that they had always dreamed of for a long time, and suddenly it's like
Two weeks ago on Sports Zone, 3 weeks ago, so I told you that what Eric Ten Hag is doing with this group of United players, he was completely overachieving with them.
yeah,
Because he's got, and I said it before, like that this Liverpool team and the players they've got, Chelsea, if they planned well with the players they have, they should have been playing far better than Man United. But what Eric Ten Hag has done is to be able to coach the team in every single game differently. So you cannot look at Man United and tell me this is the style of play. You can't. Nobody can tell me how United will play this weekend against Brighton. It's impossible because he's only got about 8 good players. The rest are average or not good enough. And so when the season was ongoing, you remember Eric Ten Hag in the Europa League tried against Sociedad to play a weaker team. He played the players who had not played enough in the Premier League, and he backfired. Since then, he realized that some players are not good enough, so he kept playing he picked the starting 11, stuck to them, used them till they gelled, and it got him results. United have not played well in the last 2 months or so. They've not played well in the last 2 months or so.
Yeah.
Now, I'm saying that they've got about 8 good players or 9 good players. Unfortunately for him, in the last 2 weeks or 3 weeks, he's lost Luke Shaw to injury. Rashford has been injured. Eriksen has been out for a while and is now returned, not at his best. Casemiro has been off due to his suspension and red card. Martial is injured again, and all of a sudden he had to use the players that he didn't trust. The other problem for Eric Ten Hag is, unfortunately for Man United, he does not improve his players. Listen again. Unfortunately for Man United, Eric Ten Hag at Man United, he does not improve his players. It's the same Maguire, it's the same Lindelof, it's the same Fred, it's the same McTominay. Listen,
are you sure it's the same Fred?
It's the same
It
Fred.
looks like Fred had
every
been a better player.
Every season, Fred will have these moments that everybody will say from Naba, but generally he's not good enough. Generally, Fred doesn't win you balls. Generally, Fred is not a midfielder who can
What
pass
about
well.
AE?
McTominay, the same thing. McTominay hasn't improved. You see, what Eric Ten Hag will do is to use you to the best of your ability. So he stretched some of these players to make people think that they are good enough. But the truth is, they are not good enough. Dalot is the same Dalot. He hasn't necessarily improved defensively or offensively.
Sicho, hold on for me. Those of you listening to us on Twitter Spaces, 319 people at the moment. Sending you requests to speak. We'll try and add some of you and try to see if that feature works, because we tried it the last time, it didn't quite work. So if you're interested in contributing to the conversation, you can send in a request. They'll add you, and then we'll try and see if we can speak to you. Sicho, go on.
Yeah. So like I'm saying, you look at some of these players when they've played amongst Eric Ten Hag's, if you like, 8 good players, and you're thinking, oh, they've improved. Listen, Fred is not good enough. McTominay is not good enough. Maguire is not good enough. Lindelof is
They
not
bought
good
him
enough.
for 80 million.
Yeah, no, it doesn't matter. Anthony is not good enough. Jadon Sancho have 3 months of refresh or refresher course or something. The guy still is not good enough. Vegas the same. The Casemiro we saw from Real Madrid to Manchester United, the guy is just about the same. Like, that's Casemiro. Eriksen that we know from Tete. That Bruno Fernandes. We know Rashford has got this in him. His season before the last season, before he got injured, he was scoring these goals.
Yeah.
You get it. Look, sure, before the Euros, this was him. So Erik ten Hag has chosen a group of players to work with. Unfortunately for him, Martinez is injured. Varane is injured. Shaw was injured. Rashford just returned from injury. Martial, who he was trying to build his attack around, is injured. So he has to use the players who are not good enough. And yesterday was a clear example. You see, it's simple to blame De Gea for the first goal.
Maguire for that matter.
No, it's simple to blame De Gea because he passed the ball.
Why don't you want to add he said Maguire. De Gea. Why not Maguire too?
No, I'm coming there. I'm saying that it's simple.
The easy targets,
It's
right?
easy to blame De Gea because he passed the ball. Anybody's going to say simplistically, you say he should have kicked it long because it's Maguire. But you see, for any proper team that wants to build that from the back, that scenario that De Gea played the ball to Maguire is perfect. The reason is simple. Maguire had a player coming from his left, one from his right, and one leaving De Gea for Maguire.
Okay.
The space in behind Maguire was so huge, big, and filled with Man United players. If Maguire had scanned around him and allowed the ball to roll across his body, in playing out of the press principles, Man United would have played out 3 Sevilla players
At a goal.
with one simple pass and one simple body move. 3. This is a pass Edison will play to John Stones or Ruben Diaz, and it wouldn't be a problem.
To be fair to United, somebody actually brought an old clip of Martinez playing himself out of a similar position.
I'm saying that if only Maguire knew, but in playing out of the back principles, the scenario was perfect. The essence is when you commit teams to press and they've committed numbers, when you beat the press, there are fewer players for you to attack with. And when you look at the position of the Man United players, Man United had about 8 players ahead of the ball. Had Maguire beaten that press with a simple scanning and allowing the ball to run across his body, United would have had 3 Sevilla players behind them and 7 players for them to attack.
So great idea, poor execution.
Poor execution by Capito Maguire.
Look, I don't blame Maguire.
Okay.
No, seriously, and this is the reason why. Yes, in playing from the back has principles. That is true. But when you're a good team and you want to play from the back, the individuals who are involved in that process is extremely important.
Okay.
You don't try some things just because it is done.
How do you know your players?
What's Maguire's greatest asset? What is Maguire's greatest asset?
No.
He doesn't know how to defend. He can't head the ball. He's the best. He's good at playing
Maguire knows how to head. Maguire knows how to head.
Yes, Daniel, go on.
No,
Maguire knows how to head.
Listen, Maguire is one of the best. No, seriously, Maguire is one of the best one-on-one defenders when it comes to duels. That is the reason why, specifically when Man United are defending deep, they bring him usually late because when it's time to hit balls into the box, he does it better than any of the Man United defenders. That is true. The numbers are there to prove. Back to the building from the back principle. If you look at Manchester City, there's a reason why Ruben Diaz is never in the center.
Yes.
If Man City is building from the back in this same scenario, there would never ever have been a scenario where Ruben Diaz will be in the
Is the one that has to take the ball
he's
out
in
of.
that position. I promise you, Ederson is hitting that ball long because there are instructions. You don't judge the scenario by the ideal situation. You judge the scenario by the individuals who are involved.
Okay, let me ask you.
Let him finish.
So if Ederson has the ball and
Yes.
Ederson does this, it doesn't mean that De Gea can also hit a 40-yard pass. There are instructions. If you see Maguire and Maguire is coming, you can see a press from the left, you can see press from the right. Maguire doesn't have the technical skill to allow the ball to run behind. If it was Eriksen in that position, De Gea can pass the ball to him. If it was Paul Pogba, if it was Rodri, you can pass the ball to him, but definitely not Maguire.
Let me ask Daniel a question.
Definitely not Maguire.
Let me ask Daniel a question.
Yes,
You've got Lindelof. You've got Maguire, who is better on the ball.
Lindelof.
No, Maguire is a better footballer on the ball. No,
Lindelof.
No, Maguire is a better passer on the ball.
Hey, Bob,
He isn't.
far,
No, he
far
isn't.
better.
Okay.
No, he isn't.
So the two of you
Maguire, they won't agree on this one.
Oh,
Come in. They won't.
Fred, I think if you listen to what Danny is saying, you're playing to your strengths. You know the limits of Maguire. So why do you bring him to become, quotation marks, your focal point for the press?
No,
The truth of the matter
what
is
are the
this.
limits to Maguire in this case? Because
Hold on.
Man United need a player.
Maguire is a good one-on-one marker.
Are we
He
saying
gets
good
in
with the
tackle.
ball?
He gets in
He's
tackle.
decent. But Maguire,
He gets in tackle.
Okay.
So,
But the
no-
key thing is, take a look at City. That's the template by which we go by. Whenever Edison gets the ball, he's looking around. He just doesn't either balloon it or passes it to Diaz or Laporte or Akanji. He sees who is available and lays it off.
All right.
And when he hits it, that 40-yard pass, he's seeing somebody running into space.
Agreed.
That is fair point.
Agreed. What
That
I'm
is fair
saying
point.
is-
Sicho, your interjection, just
Yes.
finish up for me. I
Yeah,
need
what-
to
what-
speak to some speakers.
All right, sure. What I'm saying is, in the case of you see, this is a mistake Maguire has made, but let's not make it look as though Maguire is terrible with playing the ball. When it comes to if the reason why Pep Guardiola
it's about
Fentuo, we will
no,
never
when you
look
look
at
at
the
the players who are comfortable playing
Yes,
at the back. They are
wait.
comfortable and
the
the
reason why Man
That's
City
like the
wanted,
key thing.
No, the reason why Man City even wanted to bring in Harry Maguire. When Pep Guardiola wanted to, we all know it's well documented.
No,
but before you go to let's go.
Philip, did
Yes.
Man City?
All right, guys.
Did Man City
Guys.
want to bring Maguire?
Yes.
It was press. No, it was press statement.
Okay.
That's why he already.
Okay, Sicho.
See, that's
No,
not
Sicho,
good.
Carl,
even Pep,
Carl,
even
you
Pep
need
had
to
gone
hold
on
on.
to say good things about Maguire when he was at Leicester.
Okay.
About his playing ability, his calmness at the back. You see, Maguire has made a mistake, but let's not generalize to say that
No.
the guy is not good with.
Daniel,
It's not the first time
a simple
Maguire is
technique.
doing this thing.
All right, Daniel, hold
not
on.
the first time
Okay,
Maguire
Daniel,
is
Daniel,
doing
Daniel,
allowing
and
the ball
Sicho.
to roll across.
Daniel and
Playing
Sicho.
under
Okay,
pressure.
guys,
You
the
don't
two of
play
you,
under
hold
pressure.
on.
You are not
You-
good from playing at the back.
Allow
All
the
right.
ball to roll across your body.
Okay,
Simple.
okay, thank you. Hold on, guys.
It looks
Let me
simple, but
see.
it's not simple.
Let me see if I can
Yeah,
take
okay.
guys, Sicho. All right, hold on. Let me see if I can take a couple of speakers
Let me
from Twitter. Yeah, Obing Donda, they are speakers. Yeah, Obing, unmute yourself and speak. Let's see if you can hear you.
Hi.
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
There's no way Maguire is a better carrier of the ball than Lindelof. Lindelof is a better passer, is a better carrier of the ball. He moves the ball better than Maguire. Anyways, but I think that the issue we are talking about, first of all, the gear should have Maguire to pass the ball. But Maguire also called for the ball. So in quotes, he was ready to receive the ball, and he did. I mean, I think that yesterday Man United just contrived to themselves out. So it's more of individual errors and which culminated in them going out, and not really Sevilla really doing much. And it's a template for next season. At least Ten Hag will see the limitations of the players and know who to use. Maguire, I don't think will be our United next season.
All right, Yao, thank you very much. Thank you, Yao, being our senior colleague, joining us via Twitter Spaces. Donda, you can also unmute yourselves and speak if you can hear me.
Thanks, friends, for the opportunity, and good afternoon to your listeners as well.
Yes, go
I think
ahead.
yesterday we also game happening in the Europa League between Manchester United and Sevilla. Of course, you could realize that the tie was lost at Old Trafford. Immediately United lost their 2-goal advantage in the dire moments of the game. And certainly the advantage in that fixture has shown to Sevilla, which is a club we all know when it comes to the Europa League. They have a team or two they have when they are playing in the Europa League. But what happened yesterday essentially...
Okay. I think we lost Donda there. Sorry. But let's take our last speaker, James. James, you can unmute yourself and speak. James, can you hear me? All right, so it doesn't appear James can hear me either. So that feature works. But thank you very much, all of you, for joining us. All right, okay.
Thanks.
Yes, James. All right, so we
Yeah,
have
this
to.
is James.
All right, James, you can hear me. Go ahead.
Hi, good afternoon to everyone and all the listeners.
Yes.
couple of match
And
days.
you know, in football,
When you look
it's
at
not about
Manchester United,
statistics. Help some of the clubs to progress. You see, That same thing normally happens to Real Madrid. They wouldn't play anything, and you see them progress through to the final stages. And same thing happens to Manchester City. You know, Sevilla had 6. They have 6 trophies from Europa League, and you know they are doing well. It is like it is their trophy, and the spirit follows them. You see, if you monitor from the Manchester City game, the spirit chose Upamecano from the first leg. He made 40 passes, and Man City scored them. And in last Wednesday game, same thing happened. You see, the spirit chose Upamecano and let every ball passes through. Same thing applies to Maguire. You know, the spirit chose Maguire, and everything passed through Maguire. And Sevilla are in the next stages. You know, normally science and statistics don't help some of the clubs. It is the spirit.
All right, James, thank you very much. Spirits man.
The spirit chose Upamecano. No, it's in the Sevilla game. It went for Maguire.
All right, Carl.
I hear Dayo Upamecano has got a new name. I heard it.
Maguire.
During
the game between Bayern Munich and Man City. Upamecano got the ball. He was going to say Upamecano instead of Maguire. Because the ball the guy was playing was Maguire stuff.
And this is a full day before Maguire played.
Yes.
Anyway, thank you, Carl, for joining us.
There's a breaking news story.
What's the breaking news story?
So Fabrizio Romano has just reported that Junior Nagelsmann doesn't want the Chelsea job anymore, even if they want him, so he's walking away from it.
Bye bye.
Hold on. Osro Bibi, he's afraid.
Yes, he's not ambitious. We want ambitious managers.
He lacks ambition.
We want ambitious managers.
Can I get this off my chest? Can I get one? When Danny K was at City with what's his
when
name?
he was at his former employer.
Okay, former employer.
Thank you.
With Christopher Nimley. Oh my goodness. And Man United this, and Man United that, and Man United yesterday. Now he has come here. He can't say Man United about
Anyway, thank you very much, Sicho. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Sicho. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Gary. Thank you, Muftawu, Nabila. Eid Mubarak to all of you that tune in. The almost 400 people who were listening to us on Twitter Spaces. That is amazing. I hope you've enjoyed the show. Big shouts to my good friend Carl, also listening all the way in Charlotte, North Carolina. Yeah. Carl, a very good friend of mine. Ken, I should give you unfortunately, you see the nature of the shout. I said, Kalansa said, I should give him shout.
But he's giving instruction. But he's the one who told me to come here.
So it means that he's used to giving instructions. That's he has come here and said, I should give him shout. Shouts to you.
Today is the 21st. If you don't give him shouts in 9 days, you know what to happen.
Thank you guys. Thank you so much, all of you, for your messages as well. And big shouts to Madam Diana Boatin, Protocol Officer at the Ministry of Youth and Sports, a very good friend of mine. One last message before we close. It says Maguire should just leave. I think he's the worst player that has ever played for Man United.
The guy has not seen the Manchester United of the 80s and the 90s.
This is Banana listening to us from New York. All right. Thank you guys.
Your name is
Banana.
Your name is Banana.
Thank you. That's our show for today.
Remember your name.
My name is Fentuo Tahiru. Thank you.